My shirt says women belong in places where decisions are being made, and it is Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I don't know, like, seems like the tea, honestly. Hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. I'm green. Little Kermit the Frog moment. Yeah, I was feeling a little greeny today, and I was playing around with the palette of the week, which is the Midas Cosmetics Smoke Sessions palette. There's gonna be a tutorial on that tomorrow, but today I wanted to do something we haven't done in a couple weeks. I love making these videos. This is going to be a Yass or pass. If you guys absolutely hate the title of this, I'm so sorry, but I love it too much and I'm committed. Today's video is basically going to be talking about new makeup releases. This is kind of like an anti-haul because I do roast most of the makeup, but also kind of a like what I might buy, will I buy it? There's a lot of videos out there like this. This is my version. Okay, let's just do it. First thing I want to talk about is the new Natasha Nona Tan, Bronze, and Glow palette. This looks really beautiful. Like, if I'm being 100% honest, I got the Bloom and Glow, which was like the pink colors, more like pinky, springy colors. This just looks absolutely stunning. But if I'm being 100% honest with myself, one of those highlighters is going to be, maybe possibly two even, are going to be far too dark for me. I don't need another bronzer, and I also don't need any more gold toned highlighters. I have literally thousands of gold toned highlighters. I don't need this. I will say, based on what I have for my Bloom and Glow, the other one that I have that's like the pinky one, I like that palette. It's nice. I don't think it was necessarily worth the price tag. It seems a little overpriced to me. I think it would have been better priced at like $40 just because the pans are so small, and while it's a good formula, it's nothing revolutionary. I think if you skip this, I don't think you'll feel like you missed out on anything, but I do think mine is a beautiful palette, and I looked at this and I was like I wanted it. Like, I think this looks like a really, really, really beautiful palette. So Tom Ford put out a new foundation. They all look kind of gray. First of all, the shade range is awful, but we already knew that was gonna happen because luxury brands just don't care at all. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the shade range. The shade range is really bad. It seems like it's a very light coverage sheer foundation. And honestly, not that there's anything wrong with more sheer foundations, but I kind of have to question, like, what's the point? Sheer means you have like no coverage. So I'm like, what's even the point of wearing a foundation to begin with? Just throw on some concealer and like call it a day. If you want a more like sheer coverage, just wear concealer and a powder. Don't spend, this is gonna be disgusting, $87. Wear the Tom Ford sheer foundation, whatever. Like, don't stress about this. I don't think this is worth the money at all. And I honestly don't even think the packaging's cute. It's like a little dropper packaging. That kind of seems cheap to me. Like, you couldn't put a pump in to make it really sanitary and good. Like, you're Tom Ford. For $87, you should get a pump. Okay, this. I wanted one of these so bad. Cover FX just dropped their new like blush and glow duo things. Oh, these look so pretty. They look so pretty. I want one so bad, but they're really expensive. They're $38. And if you guys don't know, I've been on a low buy, and my budget every month is about $80, and that would just blow my budget out of the water to get one of these things. And while I think they're really pretty, and I have my eye on that purple one especially because I don't have any more purpley blushes, and I've kind of been wanting to play around with them. And while these look beautiful, I don't know if I can justify the price tag. This is something that I might wait for reviews, and if the reviews come in like absolutely everybody is obsessed with them, I'll probably end up picking one up. But as of right now, I can't do it. But these are so pretty. Good job to Cover FX because it's been a while. It's been a while since they've come out with something that like truly inspires me and I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing. This is something that I see and I'm like, that is beautiful. Like, so pretty. Those are so gorgeous. Fantastic job to them. I think that's beautiful. Too Faced needs to decide their aesthetic because they're either like overly cutesy to the point that it seems like I could see them in like a Claire's, or they're like bad and bougie. Like, they can't be like Pat the Puss one day and then the next day be like, oh, it's Clover in a highlighter. Like, no. Pick a brand, okay? Pick a brand. Pick what you're gonna do. You can't do it both, okay? This Clover highlighter, it's probably fine. Like, it's probably a fine highlighter. I feel like their highlighters are okay, but like, I don't get this. They are donating $25,000 to a puppy rescue organization, and I think that is fantastic. Like, I really like and appreciate that. But this highlighter is just, it just seems so childish to me. And I know some people really like the more like kitty, like cutesy stuff, but this isn't even like a dog that most people have. It's not like you could get your dog like in print. This is Jared's dog. Like, this is Jared Blandino's dog. I don't really care about Jared Blandino's dog. I care about like my animals and like stuff like that, but I don't care about Jared's. Does that make sense? Kylie came out with brow products. She has brow pencils, brow pomades, and brow powders. And to be perfectly honest, I think one of you guys said this on Twitter, but to be perfectly honest, the packaging just looks so cheap. Like, I don't understand Kylie's aesthetic because I feel like she's a billionaire. I feel like her aesthetic should be more luxe and like rich, and like I feel like the price for the prices she charges, we shouldn't be getting this quality of product. Like, those brow pencils look like they're gonna snap in half. The only thing that looks even remotely good are the pomades, but even the tops of those pomades are in that like really cheap little plasticky material. Like, there's nothing luxe about this. One thing I will say that I will commend her for is that I do feel like the shade range of brows is pretty decent. Like, there's at least a decent sort of range, although the blonde shade looks kind of whack, as does the auburn, but like, it's like a decent, like, she didn't come out with only like 3 colors. Like, I guess I commend her for that, but I'm just confused why someone who charges so much and has so much money makes products that consistently look very cheap and very much like they cost her absolutely nothing to make. Like, the markup on Kylie, I know the markup on makeup in general is like huge, but the markup on Kylie Cosmetics specifically, I feel like is disgustingly large. And all tea, all shade, those pomades look exactly like the ColourPop pomades, and that's all and the ColourPop pencils. The ColourPop pencils look just like that too. Interesting. So the Massino, I know I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sorry. The Massino and Sephora collab. This is their round 2. If you remember, a couple years ago, they came out with a giant teddy bear palette and like all of this other like teddy bear themed stuff. It was actually kind of cool, but it was so impractical that I was like, and I would only be buying it so I could like display a teddy bear, and I have enough palettes for just display. I didn't need another one at the time. They came out with like a back to school style collection, and there has been some controversy with this one because Jeffree Star actually called them out and basically was like, you guys copied the Crayon Case, which is a brand who does back to school themed makeup like this. Now, I think I could see this both ways. I could definitely see them stealing the concept from the Crayon Case, like the back to school concept from them. But none of these products are direct like dupes of products from the Crayon Case. While the inspiration was definitely inspired by the Crayon Case, and while I could see that happening, because the Crayon Case, that palette like blew up. Like, you can't really claim ignorance. Their rainbow palette was really big. I think it was last year. Their crayon palette was really, really big. And I kind of just feel like, while I could definitely say their inspiration came from that brand, I also do think they came up with original ideas. Like, the palette that they're producing looks nothing like the Crayon Cases. Nothing they're putting out is like an exact dupe for that. So I don't really know how you guys or how any of us should feel about that. Like, do brands have ownership over concepts? Because back to school as a concept is not like a new and fresh concept. That's like a thing. Like, retailers have been marketing and profiting off of the back to school concept for years. You get someone like, I think it was Lashes by Lena, when she had that whole thing where she was accusing someone of stealing her heart packaging. And it was like, well, can you really accuse someone of stealing the concept of hearts? Because even if maybe they were inspired by you, that's a difficult thing to prove because these are like concepts. You know what I'm saying? How many times can I say the word concepts in like a minute? Like, let me know. Kind of want to hear your guys' opinions on that because I don't really know where I stand. I don't think any of these are a direct dupe, but I definitely think they could have been inspired by the Crayon Case. So let me know what you guys think about that. I'm not buying any of it. I totally forgot to tell you guys my opinion. I think it's stupid. Like, regardless of if they stole the concept or not, I think the concept is pretty dumb. I'm a 24-year-old college student and I'm pretty sick of going back to school shopping at this point. I already have to spend enough money on like pencils and pens that I'm inevitably gonna lose, and like freaking notebooks and stuff like that. Like, I don't need it in my makeup. The only thing I slightly think is cute is the little bear face mask, but that's definitely going to be so expensive that it's not worth it. I commend them for like committing to something. Like, I like the fact that the little highlighter the highlighter lipsticks like come in a little highlighter packaging. Like it comes like you would take something off the school supply shelf. Like I commend them for that. But overall, I think this whole concept is actually pretty stupid. I just think it's kind of dumb. Okay, this is something that I like desperately want, but that I like refuse to buy because it's too expensive. But Dior came out with these new blushes. I think they look so pretty. I think they look so, so beautiful, especially that purpley toned one, because as I said, I've been kind of looking for a more purpley toned blush, not a $48 purpley toned blush because that's ridiculous, but I really just think these look beautiful. I love Dior's packaging. I think it's beautiful and like really elegant and pretty. So I'm really sad, honestly, that these are so expensive. I even thought like maybe I'll grab one during like the 20% off sale, but that's not even really, 20% off is not that much. Just as a side note, because the Sephora sale is coming up, I was going to make a video and then I decided I'm not going to make a recommendations video because I'm at a low buy, so I'm not sure if I'm really buying anything yet. But even if I wasn't, we have to just keep in mind like 20% is such a giving a dog a bone. Like they're literally just throwing us a bone hoping that we like are appreciative of that. You know what I mean? Like 20% off is not a very good sale. It's not a lot of money off. It saves you some money for like high ticket items, and I understand why people take advantage of it. But for the most part, that's not a reason to just buy something on a whim because 20% is like nothing. So I think this is something that's going to just be on like maybe my wish list, and maybe when Christmas comes around, this might be something that I ask for. But this is, and if I still want it by Christmas, that means that I like really, really wanted it. But this is not something I think I'm like in desperate need of at this moment in time. You know what I mean? Okay, Jeffree Star concealers. Abby said it best when she said they look like Sailor Moon butt plugs, and I completely agree with that sentiment. And I don't have a lot more to add. She really put the words in my mouth with this one. I think the amount of product you get for the price is crazy, like absolutely insane. I've heard they're really good though, which kind of sucks because if it's really truly that good, you have to rebuy it constantly, and that's gotta really suck, along with shipping and everything else. As far as the shade range goes, honestly, I don't know. Like, honestly, I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is a good or bad shade range. I don't think it looks very inclusive, but I am not a woman who would be wearing those darker shades, so I'm not really going to speak on that. If you want to know about the shade range, I would listen to the people of color creators that have been speaking out on the shade range because they know better than I would. So that's that on that. Speaking of shade ranges, Pure put out a 100 shade foundation line, which is insane. And it has a little, I thought this was cool. It has a doe foot applicator and it also has a little like squirty thing. I'd be interested to try this. This is not something I'm gonna like run out and go buy because I'm oh so excited to try Pure's foundation. I do commend them for coming out with this good of a foundation line. I will say the first light, medium, and tan all look identical. There's not a lot of variation, but the dark and the deep do get pretty dark and deep in my opinion. Again, you would have to talk to other people who actually use those shades to know for sure, but it seems like they get pretty dark and deep. I see a shade here that's literally almost pure black, which is really exciting and cool. I do think they're lacking in the medium to tan range, but overall I commend them for the effort of trying to be inclusive. Do I kind of think they put out 100 shades not because they actually care about inclusivity, but because then people would talk about the fact that Pure is the brand that put out 100 shades? Sure, like of course, but like at least they're trying. At least some progress is being made where brands, instead of putting out crappy shade ranges and just knowing it's going to go unnoticed, they're actively trying to put out positive, even if it's not for the right reasons. Like at least they're actively trying to put out shade ranges that are acceptable, and I can commend that. The final thing I would like to talk about is the Manny MUA highlighters. He came out with the Moon Prism powders. They are $26 each, and they come in some of the most beautiful packaging I've ever seen. Like, I know not liking Lunar Beauty is really popular and everything, but like his packaging looks stunning. Like the components for the highlighters are beautiful. It looks like a literal like rainbow dragon stone. Like they're so beautiful. I saw them in his reveal video and I was like, wow, that actually exceeded, like my bar was here and you went way above. Like they actually look beautiful, and the colors are pretty cool. He came out with 4 different shades. It seems like a pretty inclusive shade range that would work for a lot of different skin tones, and I actually honestly debated getting one of these. Like I thought about it. I'm not going to because of the fact that I'm trying to purchase less highlighters this year. I'm trying to be really mindful about what comes into my collection, and none of these powders were particularly particularly unique in the sense that I like absolutely needed to add one, and maybe that'll change down the line. Maybe I'll kind of fall in love with one of the shades. I've been seeing the reviews and it's been very tempting because all of the reviews on these have been fantastic. People really, really like these highlighting powders. I think it's cool that even though Manny has had all these issues and everything, he is still making really solid products. I think he knows that because so many people don't like him, he kind of has to try like 10 times harder and make his stuff really high quality in order for people to actually buy it, instead of Laura Lee, who is still just like half-assing everything and like hoping it'll work for her. Manny is actually putting out stuff that's really cool. His, I think it was like the Greek Goddess collection or whatever, was cool packaging. It had really cool packaging. I heard the formulas were fantastic. Even though the eyeshadow was a neutral basic palette, it still looked cool, and I heard the formula was really good. And the same thing for Life's a Drag. So I actually do commend Manny for not just kind of giving up and knowing that like only his core audience is gonna buy it, and still actively working hard to make things that are innovative and cool. And I do think something like this is very innovative. So I like those. I actually almost bought them. I really thought they were very, very, very cool. All right, friends, I think that is it for me. That is my just talking about new makeup, talking about new releases. Let's talk about makeup. Let me know down below any new makeup that you were excited by, any new makeup you're just like, meh. Like, let me know, because I'm curious. I love talking about new makeup with you guys. And yeah. I love you guys so, so much. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just like, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, my social media, and everything I'm wearing on my face will be linked down below. And yeah, I love you guys so, so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!